Hey guys, so tonight we are going to be making the viral TikTok cherry tomato and feta cheese pasta. We've had it once before at our house. Our cherry tomatoes are just out of control right now. They are absolutely exploding and it's awesome, but I can't keep up with them. So, this is just a really great way to use a fair quantity, like a decent amount of them. So I'm just gonna give you the basic recipe, but this is going to be with my modifications. Also, just so you know, I'm holding the camera and I'm going to try to do everything with one hand, and I don't know if that's going to work. So I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see everything. Okay, so as you can see, I have 2 blocks of feta. I'm doubling this recipe. The recipe calls for 8 ounces of pasta. I'm going to use a full box because we'll eat the leftovers. So instead of just doing 1 8-ounce block of feta cheese, I'm using 2. And then, of course, instead of using 2 pints of cherry tomatoes, I'm using 4 pints, which is 2 quarts, I think. And then I have a couple of other modifications as well, and I will explain them to you as I go. So as you can see, I've put the feta cheese in blocks into the pan already. Now, I may have mentioned this already on our channel. On my channel rather, we do eat organic at our house as much as possible. I have not been able to find organic feta. It may just be because I don't have the right, I don't have the right grocery store here. I don't know. But Aldi, which is amazing, I love Aldi, I shop there a lot, has a really good alternative for organic feta. It doesn't have any additives in it, and it is very reasonably priced. And if I'm looking, okay, let me grab this here. Looking at the package here, so this is the package. I want to say it was $2.99 for 8 ounces of feta, which is actually really amazing. But you can see here that the only ingredients are milk, salt, cheese culture, and enzymes. A lot of non-organic feta will have, well, first of all, if you get crumbles, it's going to have cellulose in it, which is wood pulp, and ideally should not be consumed by humans. It's an anti-caking agent, but it's going to have other additives as well. So Aldi has the best option for non-organic feta if you cannot find organic feta. So anyway, I have my oven preheated to 400, and I have 2 8-ounce packages of feta cheese from Aldi. I have 4 pints of cherry tomatoes from my garden, and I'm just gonna pour those in on top. Okay. So here's my first modification to the recipe. The recipe, when you are doubling it, calls for a half of a cup. That is a lot. A half of a cup of olive oil. I just am not that interested in not having that many calories. Olive oil is not necessarily terrible for you, but that's just a lot, a half a cup. So what I did was I just I'm just gonna drizzle what I feel is appropriate over top of them. You're gonna roast these, the tomato and the feta, for about a half an hour. And the feta obviously has juices in it, excuse me. And the tomatoes are going to burst, and they're going to produce their own juice as well. So you really don't need I feel that much more liquid. So a half a cup of olive oil to me is a little bit excessive. So if you're looking for a lower fat option, what I do is I'm just gonna kind of like drizzle a little bit of organic olive oil, also from Aldi. This stuff is amazing. It's very good quality and it's very reasonably priced. So I'm just gonna like drizzle a little bit. And then the recipe also calls for, so at this stage you salt and pepper everything here. Now, I am not a big salt fan. I try not to introduce a lot of salt into our food. So the feta cheese is already salty enough. I don't salt it anymore. So all I'm gonna do at this point, and I'm gonna try and hold the phone and do this, is I'm gonna just put some crushed black pepper. I don't know if this is gonna work. I'm gonna try. I'm holding it under my chin right now.
Lots and lots of pepper.
Gonna swirl that around. Lost a cherry tomato. Gonna smush this. So the recipe says that you should flip it over. So I'm just gonna try and coat it in the olive oil. And as for now, that's about it. So we're just coating all of our cherry tomatoes in the reduced amount of olive oil that I put in. I only used, I would say, about maybe a quarter of a cup. I should have measured. But it is significantly less than the recipe calls for, and I really just don't think that you need it. I think it's unnecessary fat and calories. I don't know, maybe that's just me. I don't think that, like, from a flavor standpoint, you really needs it either. So, and I also did not salt it. And trust me, guys, this comes up, like, this has enough flavor, so don't worry about it. I'm not, like, under seasoning. It's gonna be bland. It's gonna have a little bit of this because I love feta cheese. Okay. So I'm gonna put this in the oven for 30 minutes. In the meantime, I will be boiling water and cooking my organic penne. You can use really any kind of pasta. Penne worked really well. I think the bow tie pasta would be really good with this. But really anything. You can use anything. This is what I have on hand, and this is what I'm going to use. I'm just gonna cook it very al dente whilst the cherry tomatoes and feta cheese are baking in the oven, and then I will get back to you. Okay. So here we have our roasted tomatoes. They are starting to burst. That is what you want. And look at all the, see, this is what I'm talking about. Look at all of this juice. Look at that. Your pasta sauce that you're making from the cherry tomatoes and feta is going to be plenty. It's going to be juicy enough. You don't need the full amount of, turn my oven up here. You don't really need the full amount of olive oil, as you can see. So I'm going to take a fork. Actually, before I do that, so here's another little, I don't want to call it like a hack because I think that word is overused, but this is a little add-in, like a little modification that I do. So the recipe calls for fresh garlic and fresh basil. I grew basil in my garden and it just didn't work. So what I use, and also I don't have any fresh garlic right now, so I'm going to use this organic stir-in garlic paste that I get from Aldi. Super cheap. In case you can't tell, I love Aldi. And then I'm also going to use, they have a basil one as well. And this is what I did before, and it turned out fantastic. So, do like a big old squirt of that because I love garlic. And then we're gonna do some of the basil. Squirt. Okay. And I'm just gonna taste this as I go. As you can tell, I'm not really one for measurements. when it comes to seasoning, I'm not really one for measurement. So take your fork and you just smush. And there it is. This creamy, salty, cheesy, garlicky, basil-y, tomatoey, super flavorful, very easy to make, and really not that bad for you, and fairly expensive if you grow your own tomatoes. Delicious pasta. It is so good. Oh my God. So easy.